Yeah, it says, have you ever dealt with the counterfeit? Yeah. If so, how long did it take you to get over it, and how did the experience go? Was you mad at yourself? Yeah, I have dealt with many counterfeits, counterfeit businesses, counterfeit ideas, counterfeit individuals, counterfeit girls, counterfeit support systems for men. I done met all counterfeits because I realized, and hear me, that a lot of people are drawn, especially when you start growing in your calling and you start growing in your purpose, you become attractive. And once you become attractive, a lot of things and people are going to try to fit into your life. I realized early on, especially in ministry and business, early on when Unplugged was doing well, people was drawn to Coach Josh, but they didn't know how to fit with Joshuaeze. They could fit in with Coach Josh. They can fit in with Unplugged. They can fit in with Life Work. They can fit in, but they was not meant to fit with Joshua. And so what I did was I tried to force fit these people in my life, or I opened myself for people to force fit themselves in my life. And then I had fits in my life. And then I was so consumed and surrounded by counterfeits, the good things in my life couldn't play the part they was meant to play in my life. So yeah, I've dealt with a lot of counterfeits, and they're subtle, and they're eager, and they're excited things in people that endeavor to force themselves. When you look at commercials or ads, or you hear conversations about businesses and this and investments over here, and career this and career that, and these ads and these ideals and ideas from mainstream media to scrolling on social media is trying to fit itself in your life. They paid a lot of money to try to fit into your life. But instead of me, early on, I had some regret. Early on, I had some because I was very critical of myself. I was the type of person, I was a perfectionist. And I was very hard on myself. And sometimes that comes out sometimes. But because I've installed certain regulators in my life and in my mind, I'm able to regulate those feelings out where I don't succumb to perfectionism or succumb to that inner critic, right? Because you never know what experience of life is going to trigger something that was dead in you, may trigger a vulnerability in you, right? And so instead of me being regretful and being upset, I said, man, hey, I'm going to learn from this. And I'm going to discern this and not just welcome everyone, especially as a people pleaser like I used to be. I welcomed anyone and everyone that wanted to help, but I didn't filter these individuals out, and I didn't properly discern. If so, how long did it take you to get over it? It took me a while early on, but now I'm so glad. That's what the Bible says, having your discernment trained. You have to train your discernment. If you type discernment in YouTube and my full name, Joshuaeze, I believe I did a whole video on how to train your discernment so that you can adequately discern. Or you can get my book, Counterfeit or Counterpart. That book right there is going to teach you how to continuously discern the will of God in every area of your life. Because you need to train your discernment, because ads, commercials, reels, posts, are going to try to fit into your life. Or people are going to come around you because you're successful, or because you're attractive, or you ascending to success, and try to fit themselves into your life. Y'all said, how did the experience go? Yeah, it was just a great learning experience. I'm glad that God equipped me with the perspective of wins and lessons, not wins and losses. And the great thing about God is that His grace was sufficient for me to get through it. But for you, you got to make sure that you train your discernment by giving yourself time to think about things, to give yourself time to do pros and cons, to give yourself time to seek wise counsel. If your relationship with God is not where you are able to tap in with Him quickly, or it's probably good for you now before the next counterfeit comes to start investing in your relationship with God right now so that you can develop the sensitivity needed to discern it. And also you got to make sure you remove certain things out of your life that's disrupting your discernment mechanism, or causing you to be dull in your discernment and not strengthened in your discernment. And yeah, I was mad at myself, but man, I don't get mad at myself anymore because that don't profit nothing. I do get on myself, but I'm not mad at myself. But counterfeits are going to try to force fit themselves in your life. But my friend, you have to test and discern to see what the will of God is, what's acceptable, good, and perfect for you. Great question, family.